Eddie Howe's squad face a high-stakes finale to the season with European football in the balance and issues to address if they don't make it. Newcastle need to match Manchester United's result on Sunday to stay ahead of the Old Trafford Giants and finish in 7th. But even that won't be enough to finish the job. If Manchester United win the FA Cup against Manchester City, they will nab a Europa League spot. Meaning 6th place, currently Chelsea, will play in the Europa Conference League next season. If City win the FA Cup, 7th will be good enough for the Europa Conference League. Man United will need to better Newcastle's result on Sunday to climb above them. The target for Newcastle this season was to get back into Europe, as expressed by Eddie Howe in recent press conferences. Finishing in the top 7 after their 51-game season, including 6 games in the Champions League and 7 in domestic cups. Plus an injury list which included 13 players at its worst would be a decent achievement in the circumstances. But it is also not where the club wants to be with the 3-year anniversary of the Saudi Arabian PIF investment fund takeover approaching in October. The odds are in favour of Newcastle finishing 7th and having a week-long wait to see if it is good enough for some continental competition next season. But there are other major issues on the line. Ahead of the trip to Brentford on Sunday, when Newcastle qualified for the Champions League, the financial boost was celebrated. Chief Executive Darren Eales and the club accounts revealed the extra income to be around £37.40m. The exact amount has yet to be published. So not being at the European top table will mean a huge hit. That will be offset, perhaps only partially, by new sponsorship deals including with Adidas and Saudi Airlines. So if Newcastle's financial fair play position is tight even after this season, it could get tighter. We won't get to see the full figures for months. Qualifying for the Europa League would have been a decent compensation and softened the financial blow of being outside the top 4. The Europa Conference League is less prestigious and lucrative, and very much third tier. Not getting to Europe would be a step backwards, widening the gap with the established elite. The likes of Alexander Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, and Sandro Tonali are Champions League players who will want to be testing themselves on the biggest stage, or even in the Europa League. Missing out of Europe for one season is unlikely to provoke a player to leave. Consistently miss out, and that may be a different matter. The ability to pay Champions League wages is a bigger factor. For instance, the elite in the Premier League pay £300,000 a week to their top stars. Newcastle half that amount. Players have a short career and at their best, when injury-free, they want the highest level. But the current squad also know the club is on a journey upwards which may not be smooth, but is at least on the up. The question will hang all summer whether Arsenal or others will try to sign 20-goal Isak or Guimaraes, because that's how football works when you are not at the very top. Amanda Staveley, Eddie Howe and the Toon. Players need to keep the Saudi power brokers interested in the club. Newcastle was one of their first big sporting investments. Now the £305 million purchase is dwarfed by billions being spent on sport elsewhere by the PIF. Golfers have been lured to the LIV series by more than it cost to buy the Toon. The Saudi Pro League seems to have a bigger budget than Newcastle. Formula 1, boxing, WWE, horse racing, tennis, cycling are all being invested in, and the cash available to Newcastle seems a drop in the ocean compared to the other Saudi events. They've won the right to hold the World Cup in 2034. So how much will a 7th or 8th place Newcastle United be exciting in the competition for PIF sponsorship cash? Fans will have to take Chairman Yasir Al-Rumayyan's word for it when he said in July he wants them to be number 1. The Newcastle head coach is safe in his job, backed by Amanda Staveley and regarded as the right manager for the current building job. Howe says Newcastle can't afford to buy ready-made elite players, and the Toon hierarchy regard him as the best man to develop the £30, £40 to £50m player they can afford into a team who competes. But for all the progression since Howe took over, and it is considerable, the longer the new era of hope goes without a trophy, the more the key defining moments go against them, the greater the pressure. Howe can legitimately be questioned about the leaking defence this season, which has conceded 60 goals in the league. Or the tactics for away games, which has seen them 15th best with just 5 wins compared with a 4th best home record. Some fans also question team selection for the Old Trafford defeat, with Nick Pope and Joe Linton on the bench. Howe has to prove next season he is the manager for the big moments, the best tests, and with an aggressive style of playing evolving so as not to physically bust his squad. Join our new WhatsApp community privacy notice.